Dear students, today we are going to discuss about phase contrast microscope. So phase contrast microscope it is used to observe unstained living cells. Usually when we view some object under the microscope, we stain the cells and then view it under the microscope. That is what we are usually doing. We stain. First step is preparing the cells, preparing the specimen. That is by certain procedures are there for that. For example, if we are taking blood cells, if we want to view the blood cells, we make a smear first, then we stain it. There is a procedure for staining. We add the stain, keep it for 5 or 7 minutes. There are different stains, and for different types of cells there are different stains used. So this is kept for some 7 minutes or some 10 minutes. Then water is poured over this slide, and it is again kept for another 10 minutes, and then it is washed. So that this is a procedure to stain blood cells. For each cell there is a procedure likewise. And now the cells are washed, then it is dried and then viewed under the microscope. So we can see the blood cells in that is RBCs in pink color, and the WBCs we can see in purple color. Means why WBCs we see in purple color? Because the nucleus will stain purple. In WBCs there are nucleus and we see WBCs in purple color, but in RBCs there is no nucleus, so we see RBC, the cytoplasm stains pink, so the RBCs can be seen in pink color. And when we view under the microscope, we can see the cells because it is stained. Okay, and this is because there is an amplitude contrast produced in the specimen. Amplitude contrast is produced in the specimen because it is stained, so that we can see it through the microscope. Okay, so this differential absorption, so from the first, when light rays pass through a stained specimen, contrast is obtained because different parts of the specimen absorb light rays by different amounts, and this differential absorption modifies the intensity, amplitude of the light waves transmitted by the different regions, and the image is visible because of the amplitude contrast. Okay, this is what is happening during staining the specimen and observing through the microscope. There is an amplitude contrast created, and so we can see the specimen through the microscope. But what happens with unstained living cells? Here it cannot be viewed through an ordinary light microscope. Why? Here the living cells do not absorb appreciable quantities of light, and so no contrast is obtained. Okay. On the other hand, when this specimen is stained, what happens? Differential absorption is taking place, and that creates an amplitude contrast, and that will enable us to view the specimen through the microscope. But in unstained living cells, this differential absorption is not happening. It is not absorbing appreciable quantities of light, and so amplitude contrast is not created. But there is another thing what these all the components are having, and these intracellular components are also having this, that is the refractive index. These intracellular components are having this refractive index, and when a light ray passes through an area of higher refractive index, it is deviated from its normal path, and so that light ray experiences a phase change or retardation. Okay, that is the use of this all substances are having this refractive index, and this intracellular components also. And the different intracellular components, it will differ in the refractive index. When there is higher refractive index, what happens? The light rays which is passing through this higher refractive index, it is deviated from its normal path and experiences a phase change or retardation. And when the light rays are passing through areas of lesser refractive index, it will also experience a phase change, but at a lower rate. In certain cases, when there is very low refractive index, the light rays which is passing through the that area that will remain undeviated and do not experience a phase change. Okay. So this differences between this undeviated and deviated light rays with respect to this phase change, it is actually very negligible to human eye. Okay, so it cannot be detected. So that's why we cannot view it under the view unstained preparations of cells under the light microscope, because a human eye cannot detect this minor changes in the phase change. So therefore no contrast is obtained. There is no amplitude contrast obtained, or amplitude difference is not obtained, and we cannot see the unstained cells. But what happens in phase contrast microscope, there is a special mechanism in this phase contrast microscope to to amplify this phase changes. It will amplify this phase changes. These minor phase changes are amplified. Okay, phase contrast microscope has special devices which convert these minor phase changes to amplitude changes or brightness changes so that contrast is obtained. So what is the construction and working of phase contrast microscope? This is only a simple description is given here. You need not go into very detail of the construction and working of the microscope. The phase contrast microscope is essentially similar to ordinary compound light microscope. That is, it is having a light source, a condenser, objective, eyepiece. Okay, everything is there. You should note about the condenser, substage condenser. You know what it is. It is just placed below the stage. Okay, stage plate. Just below that there is the substage condenser. But here in phase contrast microscope, below this substage condenser, there is a substage annular diaphragm. Okay, and also it is having a phase plate. So two components are extra in phase contrast microscope, that is a substage annular diaphragm and a phase plate. So annular diaphragm is situated just below the substage condenser, and because of the presence of this annular diaphragm, that will enable the condenser to produce a hollow cone of light. Okay, it will enable the condenser to produce a hollow cone of light. That is there. Then again the important one, that is the phase plate. Phase plate is situated at the rear focal plane of the objective lens. Okay, it is situated there in the focal plane of the objective lens, phase plate. And in this phase plate there is phase retarding materials. Okay, that is the important component here which is producing this amplitude difference. That is, minor phase changes are converted into that is amplitude amplified. These minor phase changes are amplified and an amplitude contrast is created here. So phase retarding materials are mounted on this phase plate. So these are the two components added in the phase contrast microscope, that is the annular diaphragm below the substrate condenser and phase plate in the rear focal plane of the objective lens. So two cases we need to consider, that is when deviated light is passed through the material and when undeviated light is passed through the material. Okay, when deviated light rays, that is from the material, when deviated light rays from the materials are passed through the objective lens, as well as when the undeviated light rays are passed from the specimen through the objective lens. Two cases we need to consider here. When deviated light rays having a phase difference of lambda by 4 are passed through the phase retarding material, what happens? These light rays again experience a phase change of lambda by 4, and the final change is lambda by 2. Okay, this is the case when deviated light rays are passing through the objective lens and reaching the phase plate. So here it is already having a phase difference of lambda by 4, that they will again experience a phase change there. Okay, so what happens? So here the deviated and undeviated light rays are then completely out of phase. And the recombined effect, what is the combined effect here? Because of this further phase change, negative or destructive interference. Okay, negative or destructive interference is obtained. And what happens here? The specimen will appear darker against a brighter background. there will be a bright background and the specimen appears darker. That is what is happening when deviated light rays are passing through the faceplate. Now when the undeviated light rays are passed, when it is passed through the face retarding material through the objective lens, means this undeviated light rays from the specimen pass through the objective lens and reach the faceplate. Okay, in the faceplate there is this face retarding material. Then what happens? The two rays will be in phase. Here the two rays will be in phase and the positive or constructive interference is happening here. Positive or constructive interference. That is in the case when undeviated light rays are passing through. So there is a positive, that is here the specimen will appear brighter against a dark background. In the other case, it was specimen appear darker in brighter background, but here the specimen appears brighter against a darker background. Background will be dark and specimen will be bright. This is in the case of light rays which are undeviated passing through the faceplate. So what are the applications here? Here the phase contrast microscope, it is very useful in examining intracellular components of the living cells. As well as this is mainly used in observing living cells, the movement of cells in certain living unicellular organisms to view this certain unstained cells. Okay, also the intracellular components of the living cells. Also the dynamic motility of certain structures such as mitochondria, mitotic chromosome vacuoles, etc. can be watched. And the limitation is that it is suitable for observing single cells or thin layers of cells. We cannot observe thick layers of cells through this. Single cells can be observed or very thin layer of cells can be observed. Another limitation is that a halo formation is seen. There is a halo formation in the image because of the separation of deviated and undeviated rays. There is a because this separation of deviated and undeviated rays is incomplete, there is a halo formation. Okay, these are the main limitations of phase contrast microscope, and the applications are that it can be used to view living cells, and also it can be used to view unstained cells. Then cells intracellular, we can see intracellular components of the cells through this. Also the motility of the cells as well as motility of certain intracellular components can also be viewed through the phase contrast microscope. Thank you.